بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
Assalamu alaikum. This is Wednesday, the 27th of April 2022, and this is broadcast number 305 in our series Reflections on the Holy Quran. We are looking at the use of the words in the second chapter of the Holy Quran, Al-Baqarah, verse 99. And this is the second broadcast. This is part 2 of considering the words of Al-Baqarah. Just to remind you that these broadcasts are brought to you by the Lahore Ahmadiyya Jamaat, and this was founded by Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad of Qadian. Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Sahib Rahmatullah Alayhi taught us that although other people believe in the coming of a prophet after the Holy Prophet Muhammad, this is incorrect because the Holy Quran says that the Holy Prophet was the seal of the prophets, and the Holy Prophet himself explained this expression by saying that there is no prophet after me. So no prophet will now come, neither an old one nor a new one. Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad further explained that he was a reformer, but one for whom the Holy Prophet Muhammad had used the titles Messiah and Mahdi because of the work entrusted to him. And he further went on to teach that although those who recite the kalima or Muslims are hasty in calling each other kafirs, this is against the teachings of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who said that if one reciter of the kalima says to another reciter of the kalima that you are not a Muslim, you are a heretic, then it is the person saying it who is the heretic. Further, Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Sahib Rahmatullah Alayhi taught that other people believe that some prophetic revelation has been missed out from the Holy Quran. This is incorrect because in the Holy Quran, God says, I revealed it, that is the Holy Quran, and I shall protect it. So if God is protecting the Holy Quran, the prophetic revelation sent to the Holy Prophet Muhammad, then how can anything be missing from it? How can anything be deleted from it? And Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Sahib Rahmatullah Alayhi also taught that jihad is a fundamental duty of every Muslim. But jihad, as defined by the Holy Prophet Muhammad, while returning from fighting, the Holy Prophet has been reported as saying that Muslims are returning from minor jihad to the major jihad. And then he went on to explain that the major jihad is jihad bin nafs, a struggle with your own desires, with your own self, with your own soul to attain by any means possible benefits in this world. That is a much harder jihad than fighting the enemy with the sword. But of course, it is obvious, and Narasa pointed this out, that if there is a need to take up the sword, to defend Islam, to defend Muslims, then you do so. But not to preach or propagate Islam. Let us now go to the Holy Quran. And as I said, we are looking at chapter 2, Al-Baqarah, verse 99, which says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ولقد أنزلنا إليك آيات بينات وما يكفر بها إلا الفاسقون. And indeed, we revealed to you clear messages, and none disbelieve in them except the transgressors. Yesterday we looked at the words وَلَقَدْ أَنزَلْنَا, and today we look at إِلَيْكَ آيَاتٍ. So the first word, which consists of two segments or two words joined together, is easy to explain because its root is Hamza La Ya, or Hamza Lam Ya, and this preposition occurs in the Holy Quran 742 times. And it means towards, to, until. For example, it says, وَالَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِمَا أُنزِلَ إِلَيْكَ, to you, or with, وَإِذَا خَلَوْا إِلَى شَيَاطِينِهِمْ, with you. So to you, with you, for you, towards you, and so on. Wherever it occurs, it means one of these. Let us now go to the next word, which is ayat. And this has its triliteral root is Hamza Ya, Ya. And it occurs in the Holy Quran 382 times. A lot of the time is meaning the verse of the Quran, but it means more than that. It means the basic meaning is sign, but in some places it's translated as verses of the Holy Quran, our verses, your verses, and so on. But the basic meaning is a sign that points towards something, a visible sign pointing towards something that is invisible, that you can't see. So, and ayat, that is the physical sign that you can see. And it, as I said, this can be like the boards, the direction boards on motorways and roads. You're going along, and the sign says 70 miles an hour, then it says 60 miles an hour, then it says 50 miles an hour. This sign is giving you some information. And of course, there are directional signs. If you want, you come to a fork, and this used to happen in the desert actually, that you'll be going along and the path will part. And the Arabs used to put some stones to indicate which city was in which direction. You come to a fork and there'll be some stones there that they'd been placed, I don't know, one pointing towards Mecca, the other one pointing towards Taif or something. And in fact, this applies to everything that you can see, but it points to something that you can't see. But if a person follows what he can see, if he understands what he can see, then from that he can get some information, some understanding of the things that he cannot see. So, these days you're driving along and you see a sign, it says London this direction, Reading that direction. You can't see them, but if you follow the instructions given in those signs, then you'll get to your destination, whether it is London or it is Reading or whatever it is. And that's an important point, because in a moment I'll explain why. But verses of the Holy Quran, in English we say verses of the Holy Quran, but in Arabic we say ayatullah, God's signs. Now, the thing is this, you see, we understand and judge things by our own experience. Things which are within our experience, we use them to judge new things we don't know. But if something is outside our experience, then we have a very difficult time trying to understand. And it's like, this endless debate about afterlife. What is afterlife? What's going to happen in the next life? And the Holy Quran has tried to help by giving some indication, by showing some signs in terms of what we experience in this life. It talks about, fruits and companions and so on. And people have made out, lots of sort of romantic and sensual things out of that. None of that is in the Holy Quran. All it's trying to do is to try and say that, these things that you have experienced, what will happen in the next life is going to be similar to that. But interestingly, it's not only the verses of the Holy Quran which are called ayat. God says that everything in the universe, the whole creation, are His signs. They point towards the Creator. And all we have to do is to follow those signs. Whether it is your body, whether it is your DNA, whether it is your genes, or whether it is, your cat or your dog, or the mango tree you planted, or the rose bush, whatever it is, small things, honeybee, spider, they're all signs of a creator. And if we study them and reflect upon them and think about them, then we will get some understanding of what our Creator is. And it's interesting to think that although no one, certainly not in the Urdu-speaking world, realizes this, but Hazrat Salih, the Prophet, he said to his people that, there is a sign that will show me whether you obey God or you don't. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to leave my she-camel free to roam. And if you let her drink water when it's her turn, then that will be a sign that you are an obedient people. But if you try and stop it, then that will be a sign that you're a disobedient people. So Hazrat Salih alayhi salam's she-camel is called a sign of God. And this is mentioned in the Holy Quran, chapter 7, verse 73. This she-camel is a sign for you, because that pointed towards God, His existence, His nature, what He wants us to do. In the same way, Noah's boat, Hazrat Nuh alayhi salam, his boat, that is also called a sign for the whole universe. Why? Because it was a sign that the people, the nation, the tribe which obeys Allah is safe. In that case, literally, they were safe from dying, from death. But that safety can mean many things. Safe from spiritual ailments, safe from hell, etc. So the world was basically divided into two: those who obeyed God and got into the ship, and those who disobeyed God and said to Noah, "You crazy man, Na'uzubillah, go away." And there was a sign for people who came after that, look, this is what happens to those who are disobedient to Allah's commands. And in fact, the arguments, the reasoning, the Holy Quran says that the universe is littered with things that point to his existence. Variation of night and day, and so on. Everything that we have is a sign of God. But as I said, you see, what it needs is for people to stop and think and reflect. And the Holy Quran says this over and over again. Why don't they think? Why don't they reflect? Because without reflection, you are not going to get guided. And in fact, as we saw yesterday, if you don't think upon things, you can be misguided. How? Yesterday we spoke about the word nazala, and when applied to the Holy Prophet Jesus, Hazrat Isa alayhi salam, this word, which means sent, people usually take to mean literally sent from heavens. Because Nazul means making someone go from a higher place to a lower place. And that one meaning is applied everywhere without thinking. Without thinking. Jesus, oh yes, he will bodily descend because the word Nazul is used about him. But then, as I pointed out yesterday, the same word is used about ayn. And the Holy Quran says, ayn comes from heavens. Our clothing, the Holy Quran says, comes from heavens. So what does that mean? That these things physically come down from heaven? That will be nonsense. Iron, we know we dig up from the ground. It doesn't fall out of the skies, not like rain. And this is why you need to think about signs of God. This is why you need to reflect upon the signs, the verses, the ayahs of the Holy Quran to try and get the correct meaning, the correct understanding. Of course, in the final analysis, it's only God who knows what the correct meaning is. All we can do is follow his guidance, follow his instructions, which are, reflect, think, consider. And in doing that, that doesn't just mean the Holy Quran. It means think about everything in the universe. Think about, why does a honeybee behave in the way it does? Think about why does mango tree gives mangoes? What qualities it has? What is its DNA? What are its genes that make it produce mangoes rather than anything else? And when you think deeply about these things, they will lead you to understand and get some feeling for our Creator. So, with that, I take my leave of you, and inshallah, we will meet again tomorrow at the same time. And I pray that whoever you are and wherever you may be, may Allah keep the whole of humanity under His protection, safe and sound. Assalamu alaikum, Khuda Hafiz, and goodbye.